Back to the grind.
All right, you guys, I got this.
It's Mr. Creighton.
And Mrs. Klein.
And we're here with your last podcast for the unit, Chapter 10, Lesson 4, titled Changes in Government and Economics. So in the last podcast, you guys learned about the events that weakened feudalism in Europe. In this podcast, you will learn about the changes in government and the economy. Just a reminder, you guys have a vocab podcast quiz coming up pretty shortly. There are only a few terms this time. They are King John, Magna Carta, Parliament, and habeas corpus. Just a reminder, when you hear this sound, it means you've just heard a vocab term.
Okay, and one final time, the big idea for this unit, you guys, is conflict brings about change. First essential question, what impact did feudalism have on medieval Europe?
The next essential question, how important is keeping order?
Number 3, how do civilizations change and adapt after conflict?
And the final essential question, how does religion play an important role in shaping civilizations?
All right, the first section of this lesson is on pages 341 and 42, and it's entitled The English Government. Okay, what were some of the new ideas about government in England? Okay, English King Henry II created a common legal system by sending judges to every part of the country to hold court and settle conflicts. Over the years, the legal decisions made by these royal courts became known as common law. Common law rulings resulted in more equal treatment of English citizens under the law.
As the influence of royal courts grew, kings became more powerful. The growing power of the English king led to conflict between the king and the nobles. When King John raised taxes, his nobles revolted. They accused him of failing to recognize their rights. They listed these rights in the document known as the Magna Carta, and threatened to get rid of the king if he did not allow them these rights. Afraid of losing his throne, the king agreed. The question you guys should be able to answer right now, how did new legal practices develop in England?
All right, the second section of this lesson is entitled Representative Institutions, and you can read along in your book on page 343 for this. Be thinking of this question, how did new ideas in politics change the government of England? Okay, another major step toward democratic government occurred in 1264. English nobles forced King Henry III to step down. They replaced him with a group of representatives later known as a parliament. This group included nobles, church officials, and townspeople. Although Henry's son Edward I retook the throne, he still kept the parliament around.
The parliament controlled taxes, and Edward needed taxes to run the country. The parliament became an important check on the English ruler's power. The question you guys should be able to answer right now, how did Parliament limit the power of the king?
Okay, and the final section in this lesson is entitled Rise of Modern Democratic Thought, and you can follow along in your books on pages 344 to 345. Okay, what are some modern legal or political ideas that have their roots in medieval England? Independent judiciaries or courts have developed around the world.
In time, all English people had the rights listed in the Magna Carta, not just nobles. This document also laid the foundation for the right of habeas corpus. This right protects people from being sent to prison without a trial. Today, many of these rights are rights that Americans have as well.
Representative governments around the world have modeled themselves on the two-house structure that was used by England's medieval parliament. There are many differences between the institutions of medieval England and modern governments, but some modern governments can limit the power of other parts of government. Changes like this happened over centuries. You guys, we've got a system here in the United States. So Parliament was divided into two groups. They had something that was called the House of Lords and another one that was called the House of Commons. And just like that, we have a representative body. It's called Congress here in the United States, and it's divided into two houses. It's a bicameral legislature. The first group is the Senate, and the second group is the House of Representatives. And we definitely we modeled our government after what happened in medieval England. All right, you guys, there is one final question. Why are independent courts important to some modern governments?
Just a reminder, you've got a podcast quiz coming up pretty quickly and a review of the terms and names, King John, Magna Carta, Parliament, habeas corpus.
All right, I say after this, I still got it.
Yeah, no comment.